I just quit my job, sold and donated almost everything I own, built a homemade off-grid tiny house on wheels, and drove across the country in search of raw land to pursue a debt and stress-free lifestyle. Not long ago, I decided to document and share the process in hopes to help, inspire, or simply entertain someone. Doing my best to share my realistic experience of this life-changing, purposeful journey. With little money and a decent work ethic, I'm determined to carve out a life worth fighting for. I just put that last video out Friday. It's Saturday. Got some beauty sleep for a little bit and then got right back to it here. So we got all our stone pillars ready to go. I'm going to let that cure overnight and then slap some pressure treated wood in there. We'll get right back to log building. We'll see how much we get done this week. But it is Saturday night and I have this oak sitting on the ground, so I'm going to try to get all this stacked and racked. Got a bunch of free pallets the other day. Get it tarped, so all this firewood we accumulated on the way in here, clearing land to get in, doesn't go to waste. Kind of spent midday clearing up the building site. As you guys know, if you watched the last video, I was tripping over everything trying to get these first logs down. Got the rocks kind of in a pile. And I also put clay around each of the stone pillars that I didn't really backfill yet to kind of repel water away from the pillar if it ever accumulates there. So we got a nice clean building site, caught up on everything, ready to slap some logs together. So I've been eating this same breakfast for almost the whole time I've been in this camper, like over a year for sure. Still haven't gotten sick of it, except I didn't always put avocado in it. Started putting the fatty stuff in there because it kind of helps with the physical activities we're doing. Oh. Watch the eyes with that stuff. Speaking from experience, tape measure. Measuring stick, check. Probably forgetting something, but that's all right. All right, folks, I got these big dogs. They're timber lock screws. Got the threads on the end to bite the bottom log. Then this is all smooth shaft, so it allows the log to move freely. You know, because these aren't 100% dried, so they're a little green on the inside still. I thought about spiking it, that works too, but these are pretty cheap. That was like 50-60 bucks for 50 of them, so it's not horrible for screws. These are 3/16 inch diameter. If you pre-drilled these, you would probably use 1/4 inch. Couldn't find one, but I do have an old pilot bit, feeler bit, that I think it's 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, which might help. Because I don't want these logs cracking and jacking, crack-a-jacking. Little step bits, spade bits, all kinds of bits. was thinking this is actually 3/16 this bit, which is the same size as the screw, which is not what you want. Get a couple more. Wow, that's nice actually. Yeah, it's picking up both logs. Good to go. Only thing is on this log here, since these are 8-inch screws, and I don't have, 8 inches. If I went in, it's going to go down into the pressure treated wood. I had to do this one at an angle to make up that 8 inches, so it's probably into like here or something. So I'm going to have to get, some of these smaller, the 7-inch stuff, I'm going to have to get like 6-inch or maybe less screws for these. Big old spiders out here. Next I got to get the 14-foot logs on, next row. And this is one of the more recent ones I cut down. And it's the biggest I've got for 14 footers. It's 11 one way and 11 and a half the other way. And I'm kind of just working with what I got out here. I only got 5 acres. I cut all the trees down I could possibly use for building a log cabin, so I want to make them all count. It's going to make it harder, but I think we can figure something out. Whoa. Good thing it's slippery. Kind of working out for me. Oh. That was easy. Oh crap, I got it on the wrong side. No, I'm just kidding. Gotcha. Gotcha, guys. Probably didn't fool anybody, actually. This thing is no joke. It is heavy as heck. Can't be joshing around with these kind of logs, that's for sure. The fact that I already have to step over these walls for the first layer, I mean, they're all sitting high, which is good, but it's going to get pretty interesting as we get higher. Going to have to figure something out. I'm just marking the center of my log. Try to keep them the same, so all the weight is in the middle. I actually made a pretty big mistake on this first log. A lot of learning took place in these first couple layers of logs, but you'll see later in the video I corrected it, and I think it's actually going to make for a nicer, warmer, less expensive to chink cabin. Heck's my freaking axe, guys. Rough cut Ronnie, let's see how she goes. So I think it'll be a good fit. As you can see, the same thing happened on the ones from last video. I got to trim down these outside edges more. Sounded better. It's a lot better. I still have some notching to do. I got to trim that out. Trim that out a little bit, and that'll drop down whatever that is, a 1/4 inch. So what I've been doing is you check it, you just mark it with a pencil where it's a little tight, then flip it back over and then trim it. So it's definitely tedious work. Not really though. I mean, it takes a while is what I'm saying, but it's rewarding work, but you gotta have patience for good tight fits. That's probably like a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, maybe 1/2 to 3/4 there. I'm going to trim that up tomorrow, and so I don't waste any daylight, I'm going to run and grab smaller timber lock screws so we can just cruise on this. Because I want to be able to lock these logs in straight up and down with the screws, so the logs, when they settle or shrink, they can just shrink with it. Roger, over and out. Smarter, not harder. Smarter, not harder. It's a very little gap on the bottom. I probably could have hewed a little bit more with the saw, straightened it out. I am going to wedge insulation in there before I chink. Alrighty then. So I got a 1/2 inch piece of pressure treated shim there. Another one over yonder. Oh, I might need a little extension. I know it kind of looks like I'm trying to file it both ways, but I'm really just filing this way, and then I pull back slightly like this. So I file, and I pull it back, and you're kind of filing the raker a little bit, but it's just quicker, I think. Plus, a lot of old school loggers, I think, do it this way, from what I've seen. But they do it like this. They have a handle. I don't have a handle on this thing. I probably still could. They do it like this, which is probably better. Update, it's 8 o'clock at night, and all I did was wash one log. No, I'm just kidding. I just learned. I think we're gonna have to do this. I mean, the first and second row is where all your learning, I feel like, really happens. Who knows? I wouldn't know, but I'm gonna have to full scribe this cabin. That's what we're gonna do. It's gonna take more time. I just learned how to do it, I think. I gotta do the final cuts. I did a couple, let me show you. I did a couple rough cuts. These are what actual rough cuts are. So I got this log actually leveled with rough cuts on both sides. It was actually pretty confusing to get my head wrapped around it, but we're gonna do the cuts in the morning. I'll show you guys. Hopefully it turns out all right. I'm actually pretty pumped. I'm gonna get up at like 3 in the morning. Whoa! All right, took me a whole day to learn how to full scribe, but I think we got her. At least a rough idea how to do it. And I think it's gonna help us customize the logs a bit better, knowing how to do this stuff to make everything work. It's also pretty fun knowing how to do this stuff. It just takes a ton of patience in the beginning. I still have a lot to learn, and I already tested it out off camera, so I don't look like a complete noob, but you can't really see straight through anywhere except for a little bit on that side. So I think I might do a little more trimming on it. A couple of you mentioned insulating it in the comments, and I wasn't going to, but I think I'm going to now. Still got a couple days to get some progress, so it's just been a huge learning curve, but I feel like once we get the rhythm and the rhyme, it'll be bobsled time. Gonna need some gas too. If I'm gonna be ripping the chainsaw this much, I gotta fill up on gas, unfortunately. Also need pencils for the scribe. Might buy a tool or two. We'll see. All right, real quick before I keep going. A lot of research, a lot of thinking, and my head hurting and learning. And they're also, after doing all that research, there's actually a ton of good information on YouTube and stuff, books, that I didn't even realize in my last video. So I've been learning a whole lot from other people, and very humbled, because this is actually a lot of work, and it's a lot of thinking. But I want to do it nice, and I want to have it insulated nice, and have it fit nice and come out nice. So I want it pretty nice, at least try to be. Pretty much I figured that there was 3 different types of insulation. There's probably others, but the ones I found is regular fiberglass, and you don't want to use the stuff with paper in between your logs. Mineral wool, rock wool, whatever this is called, and then sheep's wool. And I wanted to use sheep's wool, but it's actually kind of hard, not too hard to get, but it's a little more expensive. We're going with old trusty mineral wool. Also picked up a cant hook that fits these logs. So this is going to be nice to have. That looks nice. This stuff is pretty rigid. It's pretty thick. As we put logs on and I'm screwing this down, it's going to squish it and make a real tight seal. But that lighter end, you can tell it didn't push all the way down because of that insulation. So I might put a thinner layer on the next one. That actually pulled it down pretty tight the way it was sitting before insulation, so I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to use a thinner piece of insulation next time, or bevel out the notches so there's more room. I was looking for like a 1/2-inch hole saw. So instead of using a spade bit, I can use the hole saw to cut these. And then you get like a core, you get the whole core that comes out. So you can put it back in after. But I couldn't find one, so it'll be alright. I'll maybe just stuff some insulation in there as I go. I'm going to try to fix this front piece that I screwed the pooch on with what I learned from the back piece. And as I'm going, you almost have to stay a log ahead of yourself. So this one, the butt is over there. This one, the butt is here. So I'm going to have another butt going this way on this log here. So that's a good thing because this thing's huge, and I got another 10-incher, 10 1/4, I think, maybe 10 1/2 to go on that. So then you kind of can look at what you got, and it's about 6 1/2, 6 3/4 to the top of this log. So that's taken out a lot of the 10-inch log that I have. So if I can shave an inch off this whole thing to get it down to about 5 something, that's only half of the butt that we're putting down next. So that's kind of what you want. Makes sense in my head, but who knows what's actually going to happen here. This junk out of here, hacking up this cabin. Come on, Drew. This full scribe takes forever, but it's totally worth it. There's like no gap. It's pretty satisfying. It's a ton of work, but it's pretty satisfying once you get it on there. Actually, I haven't done my flyaways yet. I think I screwed these up, but I think I could still make it nice. That looks sick. Righteous. I'm happy with that. Hey, what are you guys doing in here? Skedaddle. I don't know if it's naughty or wet. It's all good stuff. That's a nut. And I got an email saying my second gouge chisel came in. The nicer one I ordered, so we'll have to pick that up for next week. I gotta go into town to get it, so. I do need a straight chisel. I'm kind of just figuring this out as I go. I do need a straight chisel. I have my grandpa's old one. I think it's a, whoa, 1 inch or 3/4 straight chisel. But I gotta sharpen the heck out of it, so we'll give it a whirl. Kind of wanted to try to build up the center of this wood pile so the water doesn't sit in the middle. Good thing I left this little row here. You can actually walk in. It's all pretty good stuff. There's actually, I didn't even see it, but there's another, pretty sure it's white oak. There's actually a lot of white oak on this property. This guy here, pretty big tree. It didn't look dead when we were clearing this for this cabin in the winter and the spring, but it's got no leaves on it. My dad actually pointed it out when he was out here. I didn't even see it. You can see it comes up and that's all branches right there, no leaves. And it is pretty close to the building site there. It's a lot more firewood. I could also use it if I end up getting a sawmill or a bigger saw for my Alaskan sawmill. I think I'm gonna drop that sometime next week. This guy got rained on the other night. Pretty sure this is squash, or I mean cucumber. I don't think the squash is even growing. I think this is spinach here. Cherry tomato. Looks pretty healthy. Lettuce is pretty much non-existent, and then the green beans starting to get bigger. I'll have to give it something to cling on to. I'm still curious to see if they get bigger, if they can get bigger in the soil. Only got a couple months left anyway, but I actually didn't think anything was going to grow at all in the soil. But what do I know? I've only had one garden before. Alright, it's enough blow bagging. Come on, dude, we got a log cabin to build. I'm also measuring all the corners as I go up. Try to keep them pretty close. We might actually end up building this thing throughout the winter. We'll see. I want to get all the porch foundation in, or floor foundation, logs, as much logs as we can before winter. Oh. That took hours, actually. Feels like hours.